Alright. Welcome back, fam, to the channel. I'm your host, the Elden Lord itself, and welcome to Elden TV. Today, we are going to give you, finally, the very first episode of the 100% walkthrough of the Elden Ring itself. Today, I'm gonna give you my take on how you should beat the Elden Ring ridiculously easy. So why you should follow this guide? For the simple reason, not only because I'm your designated drop inspector certified by the community itself, not only for that, because I have more than 1,000 hours in the gameplay if it comes to my stream account, and around 500 plus towards my PlayStation account if it comes only solely for the Elden Ring itself. I know that is not a maiden's behavior. I just love this game very much. So I mean, my extent of knowledge of this game is quite, let's say, certified, to put it like that. So on that note, I not only beat this game multiple times, but I've also beat this game in different form of challenges. I mean, there's only strength builds and level 1 builds, just name it. We done all during my live streams, and we managed to conquer it and beat it with relative ease, put it like that. I am not a god gamer, none whatsoever, but I do understand the mechanics of the game and how you should tackle every single boss individually, even the DLC bosses. So on that note, we're gonna go straight to the chapter itself. First thing first, you need to understand what are all of these characters itself. Every single character is differently, does something uniquely that's only specific for that character. Now let me be very clear on this one. Every single character are extremely powerful at the beginning of the game itself, but I am putting a massive but in this fucking thing right now. And the endgame aspect, it truly does not matter which character you pick, because on the endgame aspect of the game itself, depends on the build style you are going, every single character will change in form of stats, of course. You can start with a dexterity character, you will end up with a mage character. So the choice is always going to be yours. But some classes do certain things much easier at the beginning itself compared to the rest of the class. So that's what we are going for, to give you a little bit more of the easy mode at the get-go of the game itself, shall we? So first thing first, because we have our quality-based class. What is a quality-based class? That's a class that allows you to wheel every single weapons into the game itself. Why is that? Because this character and this class scale himself perfectly evenly between strength and dexterity and endgame content. So the maximum pool of stats you can put if it comes to get the maximum out of this class is, of course, it's going to be 55 in strength and dexterity. That makes this character known within the Souls community as a quality based class. That is the easiest class. There's the Knight class, there's the Chevalier. You always like to see in every Soulsborne game, the Dark Souls. There's always the class that we recommended by every single content creator out there who's saying that if you want to have a class to have a little bit of everything, a little bit of good defense, a little bit of good offense, and have a possibility to you to test different form of weapons at the beginning itself, so you can get the feeling which style you want to go. Sword on board, sword alone, even shield. You can literally go shield bashing builds as well. This class will allow you to that, because how it scales himself will allow you to wield different form of weapons. That's why it's such an important class for you to start with, as a form of an easy mode class, put it like that. Let's put it in normal mode. Let's put it to that. There's another class that's easier. Secondary class is the warrior class. The warrior class is a dexterity class, pure 100% dexterity. How you can see that, because he has 16 points in dexterity compared to the rest of the stats. He's really focused on dexterity. With the dexterity, that is a class that wields a lot of weapons, that is like a scimitars, ushikatana, fast wielding weapons, low armor such weapons that does a lot of bleed. That is the class you need to go. Now with 16 dexterity, as it also means you can easily switch it over to mage as well, because the higher the dexterity pool, the faster your mage ability gonna come out. So these things are really linked with one another. So you can easily start with the dexterity class and end it with an intelligence class. So the choice is always yours. But if you want to focus pure dexterity, this is going to be the very best class for you to pick, because you already have quite a hefty pull into dexterity itself. So you don't have to pull a lot more points until we reach, of course, the match stats of 80 into dexterity. My second favorite class into the game itself, because it's the hero class. The hero class is very simple. There's the Unga Bunga playstyles. That is a class allows you to wield big hammers, the sword of God, so you see it probably in different form of videos. If you want to go pure strength, like pure barbarian, there's the class you need to go. Same thing, you can see on the stats, he has 16 points into strength. That means if you want to go pure barbarian style with pure strength, that is the class you need to pick. The bandit class is that class into this game. There's a newer form of a class, a little bit of a class that is token for Dark Souls 1, if for those who play Dark Souls 1. The bandits into the game itself, they managed to put them as a class itself and the Elden Ring, that is this class, but this class now has an arcane affiliation. Same thing if it comes to Dark Souls itself, you fight those bandit classes, bandit enemies, you will see these classes do bleed in you, so they took that aspect, put it in a specific class into Elden Ring. We have this class now. Now these have bleed. Bleed is a very powerful status effect that deals a chunk of damage the moment you reach the max stats on it. So if you want to have a class that always have a bleed affiliation from the beginning, this is the class you need to take. The good thing about this class has probably the best shield if it comes to parry into the game itself, because the buckler shield that this class has the smallest parry window if it comes to parrying itself. If you want to practice your parrying on the beginning itself, that is definitely the class you need to pick, because parry is literally the best thing you can do if you are trying to be a god mode if it comes to the Elden Ring itself. If you master parry, you master the entire game itself extremely easy. With the buckler shield, it will give you that little bit of an edge in the beginning itself, so you can practice it. The astrologer is you got to go mage class, 60 points into mage, so the face speaks for itself. If you want to play like a Gandalf type of a character, you really want to go full mage in the beginning, this is the class you need to pick. Its counterpart is the prophets, that means you do holy magic. If you want to be a faith character, you want to be like Jesus, amen, may his soul rest in peace, our Lord and Savior. That is the class we need to pick. So the faith class does a lot of healing incantation, and also does a lot of electrified incantations. If you want to go like Thor, you want to go like Odin, whatever these type of classes and playstyles, then is the faith class is the class for you to go. Then you have, of course, a samurai for the inner weeps among ourselves. So if you want to have a class that also does dexterity, but does something very unique, has a little bit more survivability, a little bit better armor sets. He has a longbow, so allow you to pick enemies from the distance itself. Very important, so it give you a little bit of an inch into anticipating and of course following the boss's mechanics, because you can be a little bit in the distance thanks to the unique bow he has already in hand. Very nice to have. And of course 50 points in dexterity and 12 points in strength. So you can go different form of roads with this class. You can go strength, you can go pure dexterity, you can go intelligence. So the choice is really yours where you want to go on this class. Then you have the prisoner class. The prisoner class is the countercoin of the samurai class, but then more a form of a magic wielding class itself. This class is something that is always designated as the class for those who want to go for battle mage playstyles, because it has 14 points and 14 points into strength and for dexterity and intelligence itself. That makes this class the perfect class for those who want to go a battle mage playstyles from the beginning. Like I said, on the dexterity and intelligence class itself, the higher dexterity, the faster your magic spell goes out. So by having dexterity and intelligence equal to one another, that makes this playstyle very unique if it comes to those who want to go battle mage playstyle. So it has a very powerful long sword itself that does a unique poking spearing ability, of course with a staff on his left hand for those who want to pick enemies out with a magic pull. So if you want to go battle mage, that is definitely the class you need to pick from the beginning itself to give you the feeling how to play with a battle mage. Now the confessor itself, the confessor is literally the countercoin of the samurai itself, but then in a magic pool aspect. The unique thing about the confessor itself, it has 14 points into faith. Now for me personally, I always say if you want to go for pure strength, the confessor is actually the best class for you to pick. Why is that? Because in the game you have something that's called a flame grant me strength. Flame grant me strength is an ability and incantation that increases your attack power by an X amount. Now why is that so important? So if you want to be doing big damage against the bosses itself, then having flame grant me strength and from an incantation, it comes extremely important. Not only increases your damage negation, but it also increases your attack power. For able to cast this incantation, you're gonna need 16 points into faith. Already having 14 points into strength, this allows you to cast this incantation quite easier and quite faster than normal. That's why this class is so important, a little bit of a jack of all trade. We're having like strength and dexterity equal to one another. That means you can go different paths as well. You can go pure strength, like I said, or pure dexterity itself, or if you can go pure mage itself. So, but if you want to go a Templar, for example, in form of our RPG aspect, you also can pick this class. Uniqueness, it has a very cool Bloodborne looking drip on it itself that I absolutely love. So definitely a class I can recommend people for who want to go those type of playstyles early on. And then you have, of course, the Wretch class. The Wretch class is probably my favorite class. It's a class I always started in my very first playthrough in any Soulsborne games. 10 across the board. So what this class does uniquely, the cost of you leveling up decreases in itself significantly with this class. That allows you to spend a little bit less rooms for the same amount compared to the rest of the class itself. So then with the Wretch class, you are going to level up much faster and compared to the rest of the class itself. This is a class I always recommend people for you on your secondary playthrough. You beat the game, pick the Wretch class for secondary playthrough. This class does one thing: uniqueness is allow you to think outside of the box if it comes to survivability, and every weapon that you found becomes like you finding gold. So it really gives you the RPG aspect, the form of exploration, a form of entry, be a little bit smarter into the game itself. I absolutely love this playstyle. It's cool to have powerful weapons from the beginning, but it's just a lot more fun if you can find those things by yourself, and and really testing it if it's really something uniqueness. It makes you feel like you are starting from nothing and you're becoming something. Now, you know, that the progression thing that you're having into the game, that's a very unique feeling. That's why I love the Witch class. It's definitely always going to be the class I always recommend in every build that I do. And of course, in every playthrough I do it in the game itself, it definitely. And this video gameplay walkthrough, I will recommend all of you on your secondary playthrough to pick, of course, the Witch class. Now, for the class I recommend you to pick to really have the most easiest intake when it comes to the game itself, I'm going to allow you to pick the Samurai class. Because the Samurai class, we have the Uchikatana, is a very powerful bleed weapon. The Uchikatana is an end-game weapon. You don't need, if you want to go for pure dexterity from the beginning itself, you already have a very powerful end-game weapon. If you want to go, for example, intelligence, you already have 50 points in dexterity. Then you can start pulling everything into the intelligence, so you can go for or a battle mage playstyles, or you're gonna go for pure intelligence itself. So you have a different path you can take. You can, with 12 strength itself, you can go also pure strength. So you have different forms of roadmaps you can take. Of course, the early on survivability of the game itself, that is literally god tier if it comes to surviving itself into the game itself. So I can showcase you why it is so important. So we're gonna take the Samurai class as a very first beginning class. You can choose to male and female. The choice is yours. And of course, we are Ashen. The Ashen one. Now we're gonna take. We are a young guy. We're gonna take a young guy. We're gonna take, of course. It doesn't matter which thing that you pick, because every single thing in here you're gonna find into abundancy into the game itself. My honest recommendation, I will always like to say. Or you pick the golden seed. The golden seed allows you to have a little bit of an extra flask on you, and early on in the beginning it doesn't really matter much, because I'm gonna show you guys how you can survive. So we're gonna find all the golden seed quite an abundance towards the game itself. You're gonna have a lance between rune. That's I recommend you if you're playing on the Witch class. Allows you to level up a little bit easier and early on to the game itself. You have the extra form of levels if you want that. But we're gonna give you the Stonewood key, because this allows you to open up hidden doors and fog block doors early on to the game, so we can go to unique weapons and trinkets that's locked between fog doors. So we're gonna pick this one, because this one is quite scarce into the game itself. You will find abundancy, but they are quite scarce. We need to look them properly. But we're gonna find, by the end that we go into the DLC itself, we're gonna have so much Stonewood keys you will not know what to do with them. But early on in the beginning, we're gonna pick it up. And of course, we're gonna take our drip looking characters. We have different form of drip we managed to do And to the game itself, which one we're going to pick. I make Sekiro, I make Guts as well. Yeah, I like this one, a little bit undead type of character. I like him. And the hairstyle is okay as well. Face is okay. Well, let's pick this one. Alright guys, I will allow you to enjoy those cutscenes on your own cinematic playthrough, because we have a lot of grounds to cover, a lot of things I want to showcase you, and I want to keep this video as short as humanly possible, so I'll allow you to enjoy that cutscene at your own given time. But if you do want to enjoy the full playthrough, gameplay walkthrough of the entire game, I have a full New Game Plus journey. You can find them on my channel itself with all the necessary cutscenes that you can enjoy it for yourself and your very first playthrough. If you want to see it, of course, you can find it, of course, on the channel itself. Either way, this zone here will be coming back here later on, because this zone is linked towards a side quest I'm going to showcase to you. So do not worry too much about this coming boss fight we're going to find right here. This coming boss fight is literally an indication, just to give you a little bit of an heads up what you can expect, of course, in the journey if it comes to end the lands between. You win it or lose it does not matter, because we'll be coming back here anyway when you're a little bit more stronger and a little bit more survivable when it comes to defeating this boss. This boss, it will also gonna come as a general mob into the game itself. It's not really a boss, but just something that will showcase you the mechanics of the game itself overall. Alright, so on that note, I'll be sit back, relax, and then enjoy the run. And there you go guys, like I said, this class has literally gives you the room of mistakes. You can pick enemies on the distance of if you truly want to, and of course we can engage himself in close quarter combat. It does a lot of bleed, and that's why we wanted to showcase you this class. By having this class as well early on, we can wield this weapon as well. The Augmented Straight Swords has a 10 points in the strength, 40 points in dexterity, so allow us to wield like a form of a new type of a dexterity-ish type of a class. What is cool about this class, if it comes to combat mode, I'm going to showcase you, it does a little bit of a holy damage as well. There's a lot of enemies who are, for example, weak to holy damage. Well, now we have a class, we can attack them, of course, with holy type of damage around them. So we're gonna have this weapon on us if it comes to dexterity based class itself, and yeah, very unique, very cool. So give us a little bit of a change of playstyle if we truly wanted to have that playstyle. It also have the unique movement walls itself. Very unique, very cool. So you have the option if you manage to defeat it. I like to put my bow always on my right side. So like this, I can unsheath my Uchi Katana, because a samurai who sheathes his weapons is not really lore accurate. And we only unsheath our weapon if we want to kill something. According to the Japanese culture, of course. Respectfully. So like I said, you have to die here anyway, so it really doesn't matter if you won or lose against the fight itself. Eventually you will come exactly right here. Once again, we're gonna cut this cinematic playthrough itself, and here we're gonna get, of course, the very first flask of the game itself. And this is for us for healing, and this is for our mana intake. If you come down here, it is gonna be a tutorial of how you can engage with the fight with the game itself. If it comes to dodging, blocking, parrying, just name it. It's gonna give you like an end-game tutorial with the mini boss. We're gonna go straight through it as fast as humanly possible, because all the information, I'm your tutorial guide here, so it's in the sake of just showcasing what this zone is. And the next boss at the end of the zone, we're just gonna showcase you that extremely fast. We're gonna run through it. If you pop here, of course, you're gonna have different form of a screen information. You're gonna be popping, gonna showcase you all the necessary information you need, from light weaving, heavy attacks, just name it. You have a full 9-yard 8x exposure. Like I said, we're gonna go straight through it, not to bother ourselves too much. It showcases you the mechanics of, for example, you have a lot of blocking enemies. For example, show you why blocking is all about. This one teaches you about potion breaking, for example. Yeah, it is a thing that gives you a little bit of an insight while the different mechanics of the game you can expect a little bit into the game itself. And equal for crawling as well, hiding yourself in bushes. The benefits of it, of course, with enemy awareness. I think you get the point. You know? The proccing, the bleed, you see that's your bleed proccing that you have by doing a little full extensive light attack and heavy attack. You bleed proc comes up with this weapon, and then you get a good chunk off of his health. See, there's a site of America. That is a form of a checkpoint you will see often towards the game itself. If you die, it will come straight here on this checkpoint. So there's a lot of a quality of life improvement that they have done differently than in other Dark Souls and Soulsborne game. So you don't have that run through again to an entire zone. And this fog is always an indication you will come to a new zone. Yellow is mostly bosses, and white is more for new zones that you discover. So if you see a yellow fog, that means you're gonna have a boss fight on the other side. By pressing L2, you're gonna do unsheathing attack. And do this combo move. So if you're playing on a controller itself, and I place this controller by pressing L2, you of course get yourself ready to do your Ashes of War. And then by pressing R1, you're doing a slashing attack. L2 and R2, you're doing a jumping slash attack. Oh, I don't do jiu-jitsu, so I do not know what this combo move truly means. And here got the very first emote, of course. One of the cool things you can have into the game. The Finger Severe is allows you, of course, to put the summoning on the ground itself, so you can summon help, or a little put a sign that so we can help somebody in the form of a boss fight. Then you have, of course, this if you are doing corporate multiplayer. If you want to put your sign in the ground to help somebody else, this of course is to allow you to get out of an enemy or a friendly zone on your own time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our very first episode, and of course I welcome every single one of you into Limgrave itself. This is another multiplayer aspect. I would say take your time and really reading them up. and understanding, of course, what it all means, because a different form of multiplayer things that does something differently. So every in the side of grace here, there's always a checkpoint. Either way, if I die now, this is going to be the last checkpoint. I'm going to respawn myself. But of course, resting on the side of grace, of course, we are regenerating our health, mana, and everything around us. But we also do remember, every single time you rest on the side of grace, every single enemy that you have killed so far will come back. So it's going to be a little bit of your choice what you want to do if it comes to how you're progressing into a zone itself. So you say to yourself, okay, I still have a little bit more health, I can push a little bit further to an even further checkpoint, then do not rest. But if you're saying for yourself, okay, I'm low on health, low on everything, you rest on the side of grace and you bonfire on the Dark Souls, people come from Dark Souls, now it's also going to mean not only going to reset your health and every single mana pool you have, but also all the enemies will come back. So if you want to go, if you need to double back to a difficult zone to find something, yeah, that's very risky. You don't need to take. This is Vare, a very friends welcoming community of the Elden Ring itself. He explained you a little bit what you need to expect at the game itself. And when I say do not attack it, I was saying again, do not attack him, because you're gonna have a very bad time if you do attack him. Because over the years we've seen a lot of dumbasses trying to attack Vare, and then all suddenly Vare attacks you back. And there is not a mindless NPC into this game. If you do attack NPCs, they will engage with you itself. You know, the same thing. If you push somebody, you beat them, you slap them, eventually that person will slap you back. It's literally that. You have to think it like that. You go to a bar, you slap somebody will be very calm about it, but you keep pushing your buttons, and that somebody will beat your ass. Same thing in this game as well. You attack him, he will be cool about it. Maybe it was a mistake, but if you keep engaging him, keep attacking him, motherfucker, he will go back towards you as well. So keep that in mind, you know. And it's the only way I can explain that. So we're gonna talk to him, and he's gonna explain you a little bit of the game.
Oh yes, Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity. Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me, Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you, Tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, the path that a Tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you, Tarnished, to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave.
I like that explaining, of course, your status of the game itself, and of course the additional information that you need. Like I said, he said, this path of grace always leads you to the next checkpoint itself. So if you find yourself lost into the game, just follow the path of grace. It will always lead you to the next checkpoint, the next side of grace itself. So yeah, it's always going to lead you towards an area or zone that you need to follow, or you must follow, if you want to finish the game in your own space. But you do not worry about it, because I am going to be your personal side of grace. I'm going to show you everything you need on the path you need to follow, the easiest path of the game itself. So you managed to beat this game with a relative ease. Right? There's another welcome community. There's a local vendor, and they sell a different form of goods, trinkets. You're gonna find a multiple of them across the lands between. And once again, do not attack them, otherwise they will engage you as well. Don't be a mass murderer, that's the quote of it.
You're a Tarnished. I can see it. And I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale. purveyor of fine goods.
And here, the two things we are going to buy is, of course, we're gonna buy a crafting kit. It's gonna be very important. We're gonna buy all the pots in this here. If you're playing in a different class like the witch, you're gonna find, of course, here an armor set you can wear. You can buy all of this as well, the cooking books, and we're gonna buy a binocular. It always comes handy. We're gonna buy something for little bit lights, and of course we start buying every single one of these little things. We're also gonna buy all the arrows, because it's always comes handy with our bow. So we're good to go. Now we managed to get all of that because we managed to kill the boss itself. So, but if you do struggle with the boss itself, focus more on range and the very first boss than melee. Alright. Additional information: just take your bow and focus yourself on range, and you will kill him extremely easy. The first boss. For backstabbing, just approach the enemy on his back, and of course you press R1 and you're gonna backstab him. So long the person doesn't see you, you're always gonna be able to backstab him. Now we're gonna put a little bit of binoculars on. I'll show you something. You see that thing in the distance there? Like the pole between the two flags right in front of us? Now, if you look at your map, that is this thing here. This is an indication on the map. You see, on the map is fully gray. Now, if we come at this zone, you're gonna see something that's lying on the ground itself. This is gonna be the map of the area. Everywhere in the land between, if you see this, is of course that thing over there. That is an indication you're gonna have to find the map of the zone itself. So always look for this symbol if you wanna have the map of the zone, so you have a more an overall viewpoint of the area itself where you need to expect. Okay, there's a few things we're gonna grab here in this zone. And one of them is going to be, of course, the map. Another one is going to be a grinding stone, because this grinding stone is going to allow us, of course, to enhance our weapons. It's a different form of grinding stones you'll find into the game itself. Some are linked to fire, some to ice, some magic, to strength, to dexterity, name it. You're going to find all different of them in here. Now we're only going to engage the enemies we want to engage. And the rest of them, they are gonna be two dogs here, and that's what we are going. I hate dogs, so we will clear the dogs first. Yeah, we're gonna kill this guy. See, that's why I love picking the samurai class. Like I said, it's a. You see the guy over there with the horn? The horn, and of course, if he seizes you, he's gonna blow his horn, and of course the full cam is gonna be on alert mode. So keep that in mind. If you wanna kill somebody and you're a little bit scared of an area itself, find somebody with a horn and kill that person first. Now we have a whetstone, and this whetstone of course allows us then to enhance our weapons on the side of grace itself. It's very, very important. It's one of the most important items early on into the game itself. You see him over there. And see the white underneath the pillar. There's no need to worry. Now we're going to take the map. Now we have the map of the western part. These caravans as well, I'm gonna see abundance of them across the game. Some of them are blocked with enemies surrounding in form of civilian guards around it. But if you manage to open these caravans, you're gonna find yourself different form of weapons and trinkets and just name it left and right. There's another one over there. There's a bleed weapon. Now we have a strength weapon for those who want to go pure strength. and we have our strength into our disposal. Now I am not going dexterity because dexterity is going to be quite challenging for new players, so I'm going to give you a build that literally is going to give you easy mode into the game itself, like literally easy mode into the game. So those who are thinking I'm going dexterity, no, I'm not going dexterity, not at all. Remotely close. There we go. Now we have this, and because we are going to activate our secondary most important checkpoints into the game itself. We're gonna find our very first queen. Yes, she's a queen. There are a lot of queens in this world, but this one is a true queen. And of course we're gonna rest on it. Now to be able to activate this side of race, we activated 3 checkpoints, of course. One in the beginning here, we found White Mask Quarry. Second one, of course, on the church itself, and the third one in front of the gates. Thanks to the map, of course, we found right here. Like I told you, now you have a full access of the zone itself, a little bit more overview what you need to expect in Limgrave itself. There's a lot of secrets left and right to be found, but I'm going to showcase you that later on. For example, these things here, these are all caves. There are a lot of hidden stuff around the map itself. It gives you a little more indication what you need to find, but there's nothing pinpointing here. So you're gonna need to put your cat-eye curiosity to the best and really explore everything. But do not worry, I'm gonna showcase you the most important things you need to find to really manage to have the easiest playthrough into the game itself. But like I said, there's a lot of hidden stuff in Limgrave, like a lot of hidden stuff. Besides the things I'm gonna showcase you are mandatory, I recommend you just to explore the zone so you can find other hidden items. If I show you every single trinket in this game, that means every chapter is going to be like 2-3 hours of contents. So I want to keep the information as short as possible, only things that you need. Either way, let's rest now.
Greetings, traveller from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord. Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the 2 fingers, offering guidance and aid to the Tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree. Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring. Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Now, by activating Melania now and accepting her guidance and towards a lands between, now we have possibility to level up now. That's the most important. Now we have to accept, of course, her aid and, of course, her willingness to aid us. Of course, now we can level up if we want. And from the runes that we have, the very first thing we're going to do is to do a vigor check. We're going to increase our vigor all the way to 20, and then we start increasing our endurance and the strength itself for the weapons that we're going to need and the armors that we're going to change eventually. That's going to be the very first stats we're going to go for when it comes to in-game contents. We are going to, of course, our strength, our dexterity is only going to level up on accordance to the weapons we are going to pick in the very first half of the game itself, and of course moving forward. Because we already have an end-game weapon, first we're going to focus, of course, on and vigor itself to really make sure we have the survivability into the game, right? And don't worry about the runes, we're going to get you an abundance into the game itself. Now, first thing first, we need to teleport back, and yes, you have to teleport back because there's another queen we're going to meet, and she's only accessible if you teleport to this location after you meet Melina.
This way, Tarnished. May I have a word? A pleasure to meet thee, Tarnished. I am the witch Renna. I'd heard tell of a Tarnished hurtling about atop a spectral steed, and upon looking into the matter, the talk, I surmise, is of thee. Thou art possessed of the power, no? To call forth a spectral steed named Torrent. Ah, as I had hoped, I was entrusted this for thee, by Torrent's former master. 'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits. Summon them with it. From ash and return to the Erdtree, the spirits will obey thine command but briefly, as they recall battles past. Now it is thine, to do with as thou wishest. Forgive mine intrusion, Tarnished. I doubt we shall again meet. But all the same, learn well the lands between. How long will it be, I wonder, before the Tarnished tire of obeisance to the two fingers?
Now we only have a torrent. Torrent is a mount that helps us moving for longer distance, like a horse. I like to put them, of course, in my secondary pouch here. This is a form of a quick slot for different items. I like to put, of course, torrents on this slot, and I also like to put I'm gonna put our first summoning. I'm gonna find more summoning into the game itself, really gonna help us in surviving the end game aspects. So torrent itself, if you press for, at least if you're playing on a controller, at my aspect, you can put torrent as well here if you find it easier to have quick access towards it. For me, I like to put it here. If you're playing, of course, on the PlayStation, if you keep pressing triangle, you're gonna see the quick slots of your pouches itself. These pouches here. So you place in triangle, and you press down from the cross pads itself. That's how you summon a torrent itself. Now once again, you can easily put torrents right here as well. If you find it more easier accessible, then you just have to go find it here. You keep pressing down on the cross path, and you're gonna find torrents here. If you find it a little bit more easier to accessible, you can put it on the quick slots here. The choice is yours, where you want to have torrent as fast as possible, right? Secondary, what we managed to get, of course, is our summoning. Our summoning, you cannot use it everywhere. As you can see, it's still all in white. Now, in boss zones or whatever you will find something. You see now on the left side, it's like a fog gate, like a gate of hell is opening on the left side of the screen itself. That is an indication that you can use, of course, our ashes. If you activate it, if you go back here, the fog is gone, for example. Now, if we're standing back here, you see the fog is open, and of course our ashes summoning is clear white. Once again, if I go back here, the fog is gone. I cannot access anymore. But when I'm standing back here, I can activate my summonings. Understand a little bit? That's how you do it. So if you're seeing, if I'm coming back here, the summoning, you see that they are flickering. That means it's not an accessible point anymore if it goes to summoning. When I come back here fully, eventually they are going to disappear itself. At due time, I see they gone now because they cannot have access to this zone because it's not a spirit zone anymore. By resting of course into the side of grace, we are of course, like I said, respawning every single thing. Secondary thing I wanted to showcase you guys, if we go back to the very first cave that we entered, let me see, the stranded grave we passed through here. There's another additional information I want to give you guys. We took the stonewood keys as an additional trinket. See these things here? Here I answered of course the slots of the stonewood keys. If you look very carefully, there's like keyholes into it. They need 2 of them. Now, but we only have 1. By activating, of course, use a stonewood key, we're gonna activate 1. We're gonna find a secondary one a little bit later. Oh, I might have to activate both of them. Lucky us. I didn't expect that. Either way, we managed to open this one. It seems like you activate for both of them. Now this zone is open. There's a full new zone we can activate, and there's a full new area of bosses that we can explore. We can explore later on in chapter 2 of our walkthrough. I wanted to showcase you guys how you can only open these 4 doors to have access to these zones, for example. Right? Now you have access to a very early zone, and we can find very unique items there. We're gonna keep that for chapter 2. But technically, 2 holes on the stone to sell, that means you're gonna need 2 stonewood keys to activate it. Keep that in mind, right? 2 holes, I mean 2 stones. It seems like we already had 2 stones, very weirdly. I don't know how we did that, honestly. I need to check out my notes. But in all of zones, don't expect, because now it worked here, if you only have 1 stonewood key, it technically should not be able to work. So you need 2 stones, 2 stonewood keys to activate a fog door. If some of them only have 1 statue, that only means you're gonna need 1 stonewood key. Right? Keep that in mind. Additionally, I want to give you an additional information if it comes to equipment load. If you go to our character itself, you see equipment loads on the character status. On the bottom part itself, you see poise, discovery, and slots memories. You see memory load is of course at medium load. That's what we're having right now. So if I continue equipping, for example, this one, and now I'm a heavy load. What this is going to mean, now I'm going to start fat rolling. See this? If it comes to dodging into the game, this becomes very, very problematic if it comes to boss fights. So we always make sure that we have equipment load below, of course, the 50% mark. So we have medium load. We can dodge a little bit faster. Heavy load, that means in the game you call this stuff, you start fat rolling. It's not a fat shaming we do, it's just a general term that we use in the game itself. So always at all time making sure if you're having armor equipped, that you have your armor below the 50% thresh mark, so you never in heavy load mode. So keep that in mind. Now that also means you can de-equip armor sets completely and see you are a light load. You have right now. Having light load, that means your dodging speed will be a lot faster if compared to because you have medium load. That's why a lot of gamers itself who are a little bit enhanced in form of play styles do not like to wear armors, because they like to have their full flexibility and their movability, so they can dodge enemy incoming attacks a little more fluenter and a little bit faster than the rest of us. The down perk towards it, you have no armor, that means you have no resistance on you, of course, and the choice is going to be yours. But we're going to have trinkets into the game itself that is going to allow us to decrease our equipment load significantly. So don't worry about it. I'm going to showcase you can find those trinkets into the game itself. So those trinkets, of course, we're going to slot it right here, but that's going to be for much later on. And I'm going to keep it exactly right here for this episode, because I don't want to bombard you with too many information, but I give you like the key points that for you to explore a little bit into the game itself, check the Limgrave for yourself. And of course in the next episode we are going to activate a few side quests, get yourself a unique weapon, and of course start moving you forward into leveling up into the game itself. We're gonna defeat unique bosses into another zone So they're really going to help you level up extremely fast into the game itself, right? I love this and intriguing itself. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. You definitely don't miss out to the next part of our journey itself, as you are moving forward into beating the Elden Ring at relative ease. So like I said, I'm going to leave it right here. Any additional question, none whatsoever, you can always reach me on Discords. The Discord support, of course, is linked down below and on my YouTube page. And of course, I live stream on a regular basis. You can come and ask me everything you need. If you're still struggling with certain stuff, you still don't understand certain things, and I'm always willing to help you within my best of my abilities. I'm 100% an open book. Either way, I see you guys in episode 2, which is coming online very soon. Maybe it's already online, and it's already, or maybe the full playthrough, full 100-ish chapters we are doing with the DLC itself is probably going to be online. Depends where you are seeing this first episode, which timeline you're seeing it. It's already online itself. Also enjoy the entire chapters, and see you guys. For those who are new, see you guys in chapter 3. Once again, I'm your host Ashen. Merci beaucoup pour m'écouter. Thank you very much for listening to me, and hopefully I see you guys on chapter 2. And hope you like this content. I can give you positive rating on this video because it helps my algorithm extremely a lot, and you cannot even imagine that. Either way, so thank you very much, and see you guys next time, man. One love only, man. Boost.